Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is March 8th, and Matt Chapman is signing with the Giants. Plus, more to talk about on today's episode. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? It is Friday, and it's the third episode today. 2 TOPs went up about an hour ago and about 2 hours ago. So if you missed those, the Reds and Mariners, feel free to check them out because there's some good stuff there talking about the outlooks for their 2024 seasons. But we have a normal episode here, and what is our normal episodes usually. As we gear up towards opening day, we're getting back into the swing of things. I'll be soon doing 2 episodes a week, as you know we did last year. We talked about the schedule going forward for the rest of March as we gear up towards the end of the episode probably, so digress with us there if you can make it that far. But for now, let's dive in and start talking about the signings and the things to talk about. And the first one being Matt Chapman, and he is signing with your San Francisco Giants. That's the talk of the week. Another big name off the board and another very interesting deal as he signs a 3-year deal with the San Francisco Giants for $54 million and a 2027 mutual option there. So, and Matt Chapman, like the Bellinger deal, has 2 player options, the first year and the second year. So this year in 2024, he'll be making $18 million. If Chapman chooses to opt into 2025, he'll be making $17 million. If he then chooses to opt into 2026, he'll make $18 million. And if the mutual option goes, if Chapman wants to stay, if the Giants want him in 2027, he will make $20 million there. So Chapman's got the says here in what he wants to do. And you know, it's about time another one of these big names are getting off the market here. We still got 2 more big ones, plus a couple other ones. We'll go through the free agents left over right now a little bit later on in the episode. Matt Chapman, quite the career he's had between Oakland and the Blue Jays. An all-star, 4-time Gold Glove winner, 2 of which Platinum Glove. He's a great defender, one of the best at third base, and you know, now with both him and Nolan in the NL, I mean, it's gonna be a run for the money for, you know, who wins the Gold Glove this year. He won his 4th Gold Glove last year with the Blue Jays. In his 2nd year with the Blue Jays, as a whole, played 140 games, 122 hits, 240 batting average, and a 755 OPS. He started off the year really hard for Toronto. I believe he was Player of the Month in April, and you know, he was this huge commodity, and you know, bringing the Blue Jays into, you know, a great start to the season. But he cooled off, and he cooled off really quickly there. After that hot April, he slowly degressed throughout the year. So you have to kind of wonder, you know, what are you getting out of Matt Chapman? We've seen him have great years with Oakland. 2019, his best year of his career probably, 36 home runs, 91 RBIs, and 848 OPS. Gold Glove, All-Star, 6th in MVP voting. But what you do get is a, you know, Matt Chapman who's going to hold down third base. I mean, that's what you're going to do defensively. He is the factor. He is the difference maker. And I mean, I've already done the Giants TOP, but we'll talk about them a little bit more here in depth, because now with the Matt Chapman signing here, you know, I think I was a little harsh on the Giants in their TOP. You know, looking back at it now, I said their shooting was 4th. I feel like the Padres are going to be better than them, and I feel like, you know, Diamondbacks and Dodgers, of course. But now when you look at the moves they've made, the additions to the lineup with Jung-Ho Lee, Jorge Soler, and now Matt Chapman, you know, I'm still very hesitant on their pitching, especially with Jordan Hicks right now listed as the 3. I said it, I feel like he's better as a relief pitcher, but the Giants will try him out as a starter. They're going to pay him like a starter. But looking at this lineup now, Theo Estrada, Lamont Wade Jr., Michael Conforto, Yastrzemski, Patrick Bailey, Marco Luciano. I mean, there's names now 1 through 9 here that, as a Giants fan, I am kind of excited about. Can they make a run for playoffs this year? I think now, maybe, things go right. Chapman's playing well, Solaire's doing his thing at in the DH hole there. Jung Ho Lee, if he turns out to be a star, why can't the Giants make a run for it? They definitely now, I feel like they're sitting as third. I think they might be able to beat out the Padres, considering how much they lost this season. I wouldn't go too crazy on the whole Giants optimistic train because, like I did say, the bullpen may be nice, but that starting rotation is kind of what's worrying me. Right now, the 5-hole, Mason Black, a non-roster invitee, they need to eat some innings. You can't rely on Logan Webb to go 7-8 innings every game. Kyle Harrison, what do you have out of him? It's a lot of just question marks in that rotation, which is kind of the worrisome factor about these Giants. But Matt Chapman, sure, he will hold up the defense there. A left side of the infield with Matt Chapman and Marco Luciano. I think it's going to be a fun, infield for the Giants to have. Lamont Wade at first and Theo Estrada at second. There's competition. There's a place where they can now win 80 games and do all these incredible things. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to compete with the likes of the Dodgers and what I think the Diamondbacks. I think they can definitely make a run for the Padres, but at the end of the day, it's a move that shores up the defense. It shores up the third base hole. That was something the Giants had been worrying about for a long time. J.D. Davis was kind of the backup there. I believe it was supposed to be Wilmer Flores who was supposed to be the starting third baseman. That now changes, so I guess Wilmer is now a bench piece, or will he be playing some shortstop before Marco Luciano gets called up? I'm not sure if he's supposed to be making the lineup day one on opening day roster, but we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, just overall, I've said a lot. The move is nice. I feel good for Matt Chapman, but I still am questioning the Giants' outlook here in 2024. But I do think it's a great deal for the Giants, to get a quality player in Matt Chapman for what they're paying him. Obviously, this could be just a one-year thing, ups out, sign somewhere else next year. But at least for this year, you have, that third baseman that you hope you can have for the next 3, possibly 4 years. So I'll take that if I am San Francisco. Moving on now, let's talk about some extensions that happened. We got 2 big ones. One really big one here. We'll start there. Zach Wheeler, supposed to be a free agent at the end of the season. No longer. He gets a 3-year extension worth $126 million. That is the highest AAV now going forward. He'll be getting paid $42 million in 2025, 2026, and 2027. And let me tell you, Zach Wheeler has earned that money. He has been everything Philly had signed him for in COVID in 2020 and more. In 4 years with the Phillies, a 43-25 record, a 3.06 ERA, 101 starts, 629 innings, 675 strikeouts, 3 complete games, 2 shutouts. He's been great. He's been the best, number 2/number 1 you can get on a ball field. Aaron Nola, a longer deal, 7 years, $172 million. He's basically making $25 million. Zach Wheeler, essentially is now the ace of that team now, and Aaron Nola's the 2. But still, to have both Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler at the top of your rotation as a 1-2 duo, I mean, Philly players, Philly fans, sound off. Like, that is amazing for Philadelphia right now. And you'd be thrilled to keep Wheeler. You might have been getting a little worried entering the season. This might be the last season of Wheeler. No longer needing to worry about that because he's going to be around until the end of 2027. He's getting paid Yeah, it's great for Wheeler. Obviously, you just been 26 million in the next 3 years because of how well you've been playing. That's a big key thing here is that he's earned the money. He's put up the numbers, he's put up the stats to really justify, the huge paycheck. Last year, made all 32 starts, was healthy and was great. He put up a 13-6 record, a 3.61 ERA, 192 innings, 212 strikeouts, finished 6th in Cy Young voting, and oh, by the way, he was also a Gold Glove winner. He's been great. 2021 was a phenomenal year from Wheeler. Finished second in Cy Young, possibly should have, maybe could have finished first. If he can have any other success like 2021, I mean, this could be, we're talking about a Philly team that might win the World Series this year, maybe next year, who knows? But yeah, great for the Phillies, great for Wheeler. Love this move a lot. The other extension comes at the hands of the Boston Red Sox. Brian Bello, he gets extended 6 years for $55 million and a 2030 club option there. The young kid, kind of impressing a little bit, I guess, in Boston's eyes. The Red Sox, a little bit lost at the moment in terms of kind of what they want to do on the field. Obviously, they're in a very tough division where I would say all 4 teams are better than the Red Sox, but at least you lock up, your young kid here. He's 24, turning 25. You get him for 6 years. You're paying him $2 million, $6 million, $8 million. 2028 when he really starts to make some big money, $16 million in 2028. 2029 he'll make near $20 million. And then 2030, if the club option is taken, $21 million there. Obviously, if you're Bello, you love this. You've done enough to warrant the money in Boston's eyes. And, at this rate, you're on track to make the opening day notch and be kind of the ace of Boston right now without Chris Sale, Lucas Giolito, who we'll be talking about shortly, no longer part right now. It comes down to Nick Pivetta or Brian Bello for opening day notch. And, I mean, when you're paying him this money now, I mean, I think it's going to be Bello that leads Boston into 2024 and hopefully makes 32 starts and gives them, an ERA of 3.6 and 200-something strikeouts. That's the hope. And, for Boston, you want as much as that as you can. And, they see enough in him that they think it's worth it to make the extension. Maybe he plays out of his mind and is, we're talking about this 3-4 years later being like, wow, they paid him $6 million for this Cy Young performance. Who knows, right? But he gets extended, so good for him. And for Boston, you're doing something. You're shoring up some of the players on that team, so definitely good stuff there. Let's talk now about some of the injuries that were happening coming out of spring training the other day. Definitely some heartbreaking news here. For a couple of them, since we were just talking about Boston, we might as well start with Lucas Giolito, who we just mentioned as well. Alex Cora came out saying he's got some elbow discomfort. There's no timetable for his return, but he did say that it's very likely that Giolito won't be ready for opening day. That's kind of a tough one for Boston fans. That's a tough pill to swallow. They didn't do a whole lot this offseason. Tyler O'Neill, there are a couple guys, Von Grisham they traded for, Liam Hendricks, but he's out with Tommy John. Like all of the guys right now that Boston's picked up and Boston's added right now is either hurt or just not, Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill's the only really healthy, new addition here for Boston. Liam Hendricks, Tommy John, he's done. Von Grisham, he's got a strained groin. Who knows how long he's out. And then Giolito now, there's no timetable for his elbow. They're going to check it out and see what they come up with. This is heartbreaking. I mentioned in the Boston TOP that I'm very excited for the hopeful return of Lucas Giolito. White Sox prime 2021 Lucas Giolito, to have that for Boston. And now they're going to miss that. Giolito could have been the opening day starter. I think that's what the plan was. And unfortunately now he's not even going to be on the opening day roster. He'll be starting the season on the IL. And he's definitely not the only one either, because Justin Verlander is off to start the season on the IL. It was announced that he's having some shoulder problems and is projected to be on the IL come the start of the season. Now, this is kind of worrisome, I guess, in a way, if you're Houston, because, I mean, this guy could have been your opening day starter. It could have been your 3 starter. We're taking a look at the Houston starting rotation. Obviously, there's still guys Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy, Hunter Brown had a great season, JP France. But it's definitely not kind of the Houston rotation we've seen in years past. And I'm not too worried about, this rotation. That there's 3 great pitchers, 2 young stars who came up last year and were really good for Houston. Not worried about this at all. However, without that, Verlander impact there, you have to kind of question exactly what's it going to be to start the season. Some of these guys have fluctuated, had ups and downs in their career, all of them. When they're right, we have seen outstanding stuff, especially from Framber Valdez and Christian Javier. Those 2 are, when they're right, they look incredible. But Verlander, he's getting up there. This could have been his last chance maybe for an opening day start. So this is definitely tough news for Houston entering 2024. And the last bit of news here for injuries, Sonny Gray. It was announced that he has a mild hamstring strain, and he could start the season on the IL. For Giolito and Verlander, it's pretty certain they will. Sonny Gray, it's a coin toss. And now this one, if this is the case, this is brutal for the Cardinals, because they went out to get Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, and Lance Lynn. And, no offense to Kyle Gibson or Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray is definitely the name of the trio there. And to already lose him come opening day, I mean, you start with the Dodgers at the beginning of the season. Don't get swept. Win one of those games, and that you'll take that if I'm a Cardinals fan. Who knows if Sonny Gray is going to be healthy or not. If he's not, I mean, who comes up and replaces him in the meantime? Who knows how long Gray would be out if, the hamstring continues. Would it be maybe Zach Thompson, I guess, would be the guy here? I'm going to take a look at Fangraphs here. They also have Matthew Liberatore. That does say Zach Thompson would be the number 5 if Sonny Gray is on the IL, which we're assuming right now is the case, but in the report it said he could start, not as guaranteed as the Verlander and Giolito. All in all, tough news for the Astros, tough news for the Red Sox, and tough news for the Cardinals as well. Definitely things you don't want to hear. Got a couple of retirements to talk about now. We'll start with the one who, is less of a known guy, I would say, but still is quite the player in his heydays. Mike Zunino, he retires quickly, or not quickly, but we'll talk about it quickly. As he calls it, a career after near 10 seasons in the major leagues. And by saying near 10 seasons, I mean 11 seasons. Debuted in 2013 with Seattle, and obviously retired last year, 2023, at the age of 33. In his career, he's with Seattle, he was with Tampa, and he finished it off with the Guardians last year. Played 42 games, 22 hits, a 177 batting average, a 578 OPS. Just a tough year, and it seems like it was going to be his last. His best year, 2021, his All-Star, his only All-Star gig, finished 20th in MVP voting. Decent catcher with Tampa Bay, definitely kind of where, you might remember him to be at, but definitely not the player who is worth the most talk here in terms of the retirement gig. So yeah, Mike Zunino retires. Congratulations on a stellar career, and all the best in your retirement. The other player now who announced his retirement, and this one definitely is a big one. And Josh Donaldson is calling it a career here. And I mean, what a impactful player when at his best. And his best was 2015 with the Toronto Blue Jays, where he was an MVP, 3-time All-Star, and a 2-time Silver Slugger. He bounced around a couple teams towards the end of his career here. Soda, New York, Milwaukee. He also played with Cleveland and Atlanta for a year. That one Atlanta year, I would say, in 2019, that was kind of his last, Hail Maker send-off year. He had 2 good years with the Twins after that. Nothing spectacular, and one of those Twins years was COVID. But 2022 with the Yankees, a little tough, and then last year the Yankees released and moved over to the Brewers. Just wasn't the same. But in his heyday with Oakland, 3 years there, and then 4 great years with the Blue Jays. MVP in 2015, and 4th in MVP in 2016, took the Blue Jays to 2 postseason runs. He was just an impactful player in that team. 2015, he led the league in runs, 122, led the league in RBIs, 123, and overall was just a great player in his 13-year career. Collected 1,383 games, 279 home runs to his name, a career .261 batting average, and an .847 OPS. Over 1,300 hits, over 800 runs scored, over 800 RBIs. Just a great player from top to bottom. You can go and find his best moments. He had a lot of walk-off home runs. MLB posted a video that I watched of Donaldson's best moments. He had a surprisingly high amount of walk-off home runs. He had 4 or 5 with Oakland, 6 or 7 with the Blue Jays, had 1 with New York, had a couple with the Twins. He was always the right guy at the right moment. And, 2015, the best year of his career. He was a great player, and Josh Donaldson will definitely be missed in the game. I wonder if he'll be a Hall of Famer one day. He definitely is one of those guys where it's very on the fringe. Some could say yes, some would say no. Me personally, I do love Josh Donaldson. I think he was a great player. I think he, had his moments of success and moments of, well, this is kind of towards the rock bottom. But I would say he's a Hall of Famer, and I hope that one day the people of Cooperstown realize that and let him into the Hall. But for now, Josh, congratulations on a fantastic career, and enjoy your retirement. All right, moving on now. I'm trying to keep the flow going here today. We got 2 notable non-roster invitee guys to talk about here quickly. Guys who wouldn't be on the TOPs that, have come and gone. First of all, CJ Cron is signing a deal with Boston, non-roster invitee. That could be interesting there for the Red Sox. Cron, we talked about, lots of power still, can still try to hit, and I think Fenway is going to be a nice place for him, so all the best for Cron there. Hopefully it works out. And then Eddie Rosario, and this one's the interesting one. It's a non-roster invitee deal, but he is signing with the Washington Nationals, and he could be making up to $4 million with the incentives in his contract. Obviously, the first and foremost key to this is making sure he is on opening day roster. Fighting for a spot right now is Eddie, and once he gets there, we'll talk about trying to make up that $4 million in his incentives. But definitely those 2 moves were things to note and some things to kind of jot down for the 2020, for spring training. I'm saying 2024 a lot. So let's talk about some of those guys who are still missing, though. There's still a lot of free agents still on the table here. A handful of players that I just want to talk about really quickly. Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, the best pitchers. two of the top four. Bellinger gone, Chapman gone. Which one's next? At this rate, we're getting one this week and one next week. So make your picks. Who's going first? I would say Snell. Some other guys who are still unsigned, and these are just good players. JD Martinez. I mean, there's 30 MLB teams. I'm sure 28 or 29 of them could use JD Martinez in their lineup. Brandon Belt had a nice year with the Blue Jays last year. Mike Clevenger, Adam Duvall, Tommy Pham, Michael Lorenzen, Michael A. Taylor, Joey Votto. All of these guys still free agents, plus more. But those are definitely the most notable still left out there. All of which still deserving to play. All of which still have lots of major league talent ready to go. So hopefully some teams realize that and pick up some of these guys. Votto, 40 years old, but he can still give you one more year probably. Someone sign Joey Votto, please, before he terrorizes more shopping carts. For those not familiar, Joey Votto on social media, Instagram, because spring training's happened and he's not able to play, he's been messing around with some shopping carts and just, being Joey Votto. He's a character. He's one of the greats in baseball, so I think he deserves one last year. If it's Cincinnati, it's Cincinnati. If it's somewhere else, it's somewhere else. But, let's get these guys signed, because some of these guys deserve to be playing in a major league team, Major League Ball Club. All right, going off now as we get closer and closer to the end of this episode. One more thing that I want to touch upon here, and that is Spring Breakout. It is here. It's happening. We are a couple days away from that, and that sure is exciting. First thing to note is that it is, in case no one's, been paying attention, if you've missed it, it's a chance for some of the young players in the prospect systems, the farm systems for all 30 teams. It's 16 games happening between March 14th and March 17th. Yesterday, they finally got to reveal all the rosters. And can I just say, there are surprisingly, I obviously wasn't expecting to know all the players, but I'm surprised how many I don't know, or at least how many I actually did know too. Like, it's a mix of I feel like I should know more, but at the same time, look at all of these names that I know. I went through all 30 rosters entering for this. Everyone's playing one game, and I'm sure there's going to be, it's very spring training-esque like. I'm sure there's going to be a pitcher every inning and a lot of substitutions, kind of like an all-star game in a way. There's two teams who are getting 2 games. I forget which ones they are. I think one of them is St. Louis. Not sure on the other one. Maybe the Cubs? I don't know. But I want to talk about some of the players who are going to be on the Spring Breakout rosters. Some of the players I've heard of, and just kind of read out some names of guys I'm excited to be watching during this new feature, new thing that MLB's doing for spring training. So obviously it starts off Jackson Holliday from Baltimore, top prospect, superstar, soon to be superstar, son of Matt Holliday. He's definitely the big name to be watching, as he will take on another top prospect in the Pirates organization, who we'll get to shortly. Boston, Marcelo Mayer, Cedane Raphael. The Yankees, I know Spencer Jones. The Guardians, Kyle Manzarado, and Cahill Watson. I remember this guy when he first got drafted, I think with Miami, I want to say. I was surprised to see his name on the list, but I'm excited to see him play. Blake Mitchell from your Kansas City Royals. Dylan Dingler from Detroit, as well as Jace Young and Max Clark. So Detroit's got some fun names there. Minnesota Twins, Austin Martin and Walker Jenkins. Austin Martin, of course, the key piece they got in the Jose Berrios trade with the Blue Jays. The White Sox have Colson Montgomery. Oakland, Daryl Hernice. Seattle, Harry Ford, catcher of the future. Texas, Jack Leiter. I'm excited to see him play. Miami's got Noble Mayer, as well as Victor Mesa Jr. The Mets, Luis Angel Acuna, then as well as Drew Gilbert, another guy I knew there. Washington's got some fun outfielders: Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Elijah Green, all set to go for spring training or spring breakout. The Brewers, of course, the kid Jackson Churio, the prospect they paid a huge extension to already. Mason Wynn from the Cardinals. Paul Skeens, the pitcher we're talking about, round 2 between him and Jackson Holliday. Also from the Pirates, Tamar Johnson. Arizona has Jordan Lawler as well as Drew Jones. The Giants, Jonah Cox, who they got in the trade from Oakland. Hunter Bishop's another one there. The Padres, Gary Rosario as well as Ethan Salas. And the Rockies, Chase Dollander and Zach Veen. Those were some of the guys that I remember seeing and hearing about. That I'm excited to see and watch during this time. So I definitely would recommend checking out a couple games, at least your favorite team, whether it be, whoever your favorite team is. I suggest you watch their game and see some of the young talent that can offer, get to learn a couple new names and a couple new stories, I'm sure. I think it's going to be great. I'm very excited for this. So tune in, I guess. I'm just supporting MLB at this point. But yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the offseason, because we're getting an inching closer to some baseball. So today is March 8th. We've talked about our episode. This is done. We're episode's wrapping up after schedule here. So it's going to be a while. Next week from the 11th to the 15th, 5 days there, 10 episodes, the last 10 TOPs. That is all that's going to happen next week. Then on the 18th, we're going to have an episode talking about the Spring Breakout, going over some of that stuff, and then any other free agencies moves that happen. So all of that will be on March 18th. Then on the 20th and the 21st, that's the Soul Series between the Dodgers and Padres. So we'll be doing our first kind of baseball recap of 2024 on that Friday, on the 22nd. So that's going to be the plan there. And then on the 25th, on the Monday, it's prediction time. It's MVPs, it's Cy Youngs, it's Rookie of the Years, Division winners, World Series winner, predicting it all. That will all happen on the 25th, which will take us to the 28th of baseball, or 28th of March, opening day, the first day of baseball for 28 teams, and Dodgers and Padres still in the mix as well. So all of that will happen on the 28th, and then episodes as they were last year and how we went from week to week, that will all start April 1st with the first series recap of 2024, and then going forward, episodes Mondays and Fridays talking about the baseball that we know and love. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to today's episode. And if this is the third episode you're listening to today, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for checking out the TOPs. I hope you guys are enjoying those. And the off season is pretty much done. We're very close to some baseball. 20 days, less than 3 weeks away from MLB baseball coming at you. I'm very excited and can't wait to be watching some baseball. I hope you guys are too. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you next time.